Good morning, and welcome to Refresh. I mean, your Monday Morning Devotional. It's come to a little differently than normal because I'm at kids camp this week, so I won't be able to be doing my devotionals live for a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to have a great time hanging out with our kids, and in the meantime, I'm going to be recording them for you and posting them still at 10 a.m. It's just a little different, but let's do this. I've been using this kind of recording setup for our Wednesday night videos for Refresh I've been doing for the youth. If you have any interest in checking any of those out, let me know. I'd send you the link to it. But let's get straight to our devotional. There is a time for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1 according to the New King James Version. Now, the first line of our devotional really touched me. It says, in order to negotiate well, so it's supposed to be all about negotiating well, it helps to understand what's happening on both sides of the table. Now, before I could even process the rest of it, I kind of threw it on the ground and was like, yes, can we please try to understand what's happening on both sides of the table? Can we have conversations? Because if you know me, I'm all about conversations. I'm all about listening. I want to know what your point is, why you argue your point. I really care more about that than actually arguing against your point. I want to know that your point is well put together. Whether I think it's right, wrong, indifferent, whatever, I really am more about listening. And that's because I love this idea, what's happening on both sides of the table. And as I'm preparing this, I was scrolling through Facebook and I see all these polarized messages of left, right, all different political sides of the spectrum. And people are commenting, and things get vicious in the Facebook comment section. And it's not the place for me. I am too faint of heart for that. But I just want to encourage you right there, right off the bat. Let's listen to both sides of the table. Let's stop the name calling. Let's stop all that. And let's listen. Why are you saying this? Where do you pull your information from? Let's take an opportunity to learn and grow from each other instead of just, you're wrong. Anyway, I digress. Devotional continues on to say, people seldom buy a product for the reason that you want to sell it. If you show more interest in making a profit than meeting their need, you'll fail. So here's a few things to keep in mind when negotiating with someone. The right attitude. Nobody likes being taken for granted, coerced, and pursued. You gotta treat people with respect. You gotta be with the right attitude. And number 2, the cost involved for others. There's a world of difference between negotiating with someone who has so much money that whatever the cost they can afford, and someone who is sacrificing because they really need your product. If you want a long-term customer rather than a short-term sale, practice the golden rule. Whatever you want others to do for you, do for them. Number 3 on our negotiating rules is the proper timing. Solomon tells us there's a time to gain and a time to lose. Whether you're asking for a raise or trying to sell a product to a customer, timing is all important. When somebody's hungry, lonely, angry, tired, stressed, or in a crisis, you risk losing out. Whereas if you'd waited for the right time, chances are you'd have won. Does God really care about stuff? Now, this was kind of where I was questioning. I'm like, okay, this is all about business and how to sell stuff. That's great, but what is it doing in a devotional book? So does God really care about stuff like that? Yes. God cares about honesty in the workplace. Your business is his business. I believe that's Proverbs 16:11 according to the Message translation. As a follower of Christ, you want both sides to walk away feeling that they were treated fairly. And I think for us, this is just a call to be aware on our daily life, whether we work in sales or if we work in retail or any of these kinds of different operations. We need to be mindful of who we're working with, respect people, treat them as human beings, because that's what we're working with. We're working with people that are made in the image of God. It's a wonderful thing to get to work with people. It can get frustrating sometime, I know. But at the end of the day, we're still working with people, and God's all about our business. I'm a pretty firm believer that God has called us all to wherever we're at that moment, and let's make the best of it. Let's show every person the love of Christ so that each of us, or each of them, may know that I am messing up Pastor Allen's benediction. I am sorry, Pastor Allen. Could you comment that below and help me out there? Anyway, be that generous friend wherever you go. Love on people, whatever you're doing. Be ethical. And let's have a good week. Love you guys. And I will see you on Saturday for our Saturday night devotional. Peace.